Hello everyone, my name is Abby Bliss White and welcome to my channel. It is Friday and that means it is Fragrance Friday, and I'm so excited today because we're going to have a little perfume sampling party. I have some fun samples from Atelier Materi that I'm so excited about because I have been drawn to this brand because the aesthetic is just right up my alley, and I've got some beautiful fragrances to share with you within that brand today. I also have a new MFK to add to my collection, and I'm calling this my Chic Parisian perfume. I'm so in love with this Amorous Femme. This is the Extrait de Parfum version, and I can't wait to share a little bit more information about this chic little beauty. So if you're interested in having a little perfume party with me today, sampling some of these scents, then let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we're going to start this party off with this Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This is Amyris Femme, and this is the Extrait de Parfum version of it. And this is a very chic Parisian fruity floral that I am just obsessed with. I already know this is going to be my fragrance of the day, so I'm going to go ahead put some of this on so it can develop just a bit. I usually do 1, 2 on each side. I like to do a little bit on the nape of my neck. I find that that gives me a nice little cloud of the fragrance throughout the day. And I'll go ahead and do a little spritz down the shirt. So I don't know if there's any scientific backing. That is just the way that I like to do the perfume. And then before I leave the house, I like to do the walkthrough where I will do a couple squirts out here and then walk through it so it will get on my clothes. So that is if you want to be a little extra, but that's just the way that I like to put on my perfume. And again, depending on the scent, if it is a beast mode scent, I'm only going to do like 1, 2. I'm not going to go too heavy handed. But this fragrance is just a very chic, fruity floral. This is not your young floral. This is a very sophisticated, classy floral scent. I had smelled Amyris before in the original version, and to my nose it felt a teeny bit screechy on my chemistry, and so when I tried the Extrait version of it, this version was a bit more smooth, and I could really smell the pronounced notes in this perfume. So this is a fragrance that includes pear, and this is something that I've noticed. I really like fragrances that include pear notes in it. So if you're interested, let me know if you want me to do sort of a pear note fragrance Friday. That could be a fun little genre we could take a peek at. But this also has gorgeous jasmine, the note of amyris, which I did not know, but basically this is described as a West Indies sandalwood. So once I learned that, I was like, no wonder. I really love this fragrance. I love creamy sandalwood, and this version of sandalwood is slightly sweet, definitely woody, a bit smoky, so really a beautiful note. It's got a bit of mandarin blossom that sort of gives it a nice sparkly or almost slightly fizzy nature to this fragrance. And then iris, and I'm a huge iris fragrance lover. I find that iris fragrances usually have a nice soft powdery facet to it that I just think is very feminine and very pretty. And I love the contrast of sort of that zesty mandarin blossom and then that slight powdery touch that is very elegant in fragrances with that iris note. This version smells a bit juicy, a bit heady, but then it's going to dry down into a very chic and elegant fruity Floral. And I love this because even though I consider myself more of a casual girl, I'm not always dressed up to the nines, it doesn't mean that I don't want to feel a bit more sophisticated and classy on the day-to-day. Whether I'm just wearing a button-down and jeans, I still like to feel put together, and this is what this fragrance feels like. It's got a little bit of playfulness to it, so it is not stuffy, but I definitely feel a little bit elevated, a little bit classy, and a bit Parisian chic. And having just been to Paris, I miss it already and I can't wait to go back. I feel like this fragrance is transporting me back to Paris, where I get to walk the streets, kind of take in the culture, and just a little piece of Paris in a bottle. So love this so much because not only does it make me feel a bit elevated, a bit chic, transports me back to Paris, but also just puts a smile on my face. Like, this one is going to be a very happy fragrance as well. So there's a bit of playfulness to this, and again, that pear note is just perfect because it's not too sweet. I think maybe that is what I'm finding, is that I didn't think I liked fruity florals, but clearly I've been into them lately, and the pear note in here is just perfect. Just like pears, they're not like super sweet, they're just perfectly in between, and I just think that might be the key there, with that little lift of that mandarin blossom that adds a little bit of sparkliness. This is chic and sparkly and a bit playful. And I also find that this fragrance has huge longevity. This is an extrait version. Those are usually going to be much more long lasting, and I find that to be the case with this. This is one of those that gives you that lovely waft throughout the day. You're going to be able to smell yourself. Others will be able to have a little bit of the cloud. This is not like a beast mode fragrance, but I did have a comment from my husband who just said, "You smell really good." Those are the best kind of compliments. It means you have put on the appropriate amount of perfume, not overdid it, but that you just smell good and others think you smell good too. So that was a little bonus as well. So if you were looking for a very classy, chic, transport you to Paris fragrance, I would definitely check out this Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and this is Amyris Femme in the extrait version. Definitely prefer that over the original. Next, we're going to have a little perfume sampling party, and I have some samples from Twisted Lily. These are all Atelier Materi fragrances, and I have to be honest, I smelled all of these the other night and I was like, oh, this is hard, kind of narrowing down which one I love the most. So we're just going to go through all four of them. So first of all, the aesthetics of the brand are just gorgeous. I love the deep blue bottles. Okay, I'm going to start with the fresh one first. This is Pomelo, and this is so perfect for this time of year right now, especially if you're experiencing some heat due to the heat waves across the country right now. This smells so good, you guys. So I'm a huge fan of grapefruit. Love it, love to eat it, love the smell of it. I just love it all. I love the tartness of it, and this one smells very fresh. This smells so good. So this definitely smells like grapefruit. In my estimation, it smells like kind of a ruby red grapefruit. It is tart, slightly sweet, very fresh, and the other notes in here are just combined so beautifully that for any of you who like a slightly citrusy, fresh fragrance, I would definitely say check this one out. So the notes in here are tomato pepper, grapefruit, pink peppercorn, angelica, peony, osmanthus, cedar, vetiver, and mate. So yes, I am smelling that tea base. Osmanthus always, to me, has sort of a sweet apricot, almost chewy nature to it. But this one is very sparkly. That's not super dense. I definitely feel like it is such a great, like, fresh fragrance. Like, get out of the shower, spritz this on. You've got that citrus in there. It has a little bit of kick to it, but not much. I would say it's just balanced. Sometimes citrusy fragrances can go a little bit like Pledge Cleaner to me, those kind of fresh citrusies, which I still love the smell of that. I love that fresh feeling. But this one is not like this. You've got that tart, juicy grapefruit that is slightly sweet. You've got a little bit of that tomato pepper as well as the pink peppercorn in here to kind of balance out the sweetness. I definitely smell that mate in there, the vetiver. So this one is very like juicy and woody, slightly sweet almost. I think that's from the osmanthus, that kind of apricot-y note in here. It really is so pretty. And again, if you are in a very hot region right now and you are experiencing these heat waves, this would be like the refreshing fragrance to put on. And I have to tell you, I had sprayed these on paper the night before, smelling everything, and when I woke up and smelled the paper again this morning, it still smelled like I had just sprayed it on. So the longevity of this fragrance is great. Okay, the next one we're going to sample is Bois d'Ambrette. And ambrette is a note that I actually really like in fragrances. I know I don't want to describe it necessarily as medicinal, but it does have a cleanness to it, but it does have a sort of clean musk dried down that I enjoy when it's mixed with other notes in fragrances. And this fragrance has this soft kind of airy, as if you had taken some linens out to dry. So it's got a little bit of this airiness, a little bit of dryness to it, but it's also got some warmer notes. So let me read the notes to you. It's got mandarin, ginger, ambrette, angelica, amorous, musks, sandalwood, and ambroxan. So I would describe this one as another one of these sort of fresh fragrances, but more on the musk side, not necessarily on the citrus side. This fragrance is a bit more sensual. I think of it again as a little bit more airy, a little bit more dry, but then it's got this underbelly of some creamy sandalwood in it. So a nice contrast between warmth and cool in this fragrance, but I would say it is definitely sensual. If you love musks, I think you would like this one. Very, very pretty. More of a soft skin scent. I smell a little bit of soft florals in here. I smell clean linens in here. I smell a bit of airiness in here, a bit of powderiness, but by no means a powder bomb. I would say more of a fluffy cloud of clean musk. That's what I'm getting from this fragrance. Very likable, very office appropriate. This is not one of these fragrances that's gonna knock you on the head. This is going to be very understated, very elegant. And again, I think anybody who would like musk fragrances, those soft kind of clean, comforting fragrances, I think this might be the one for you. So definitely like this one as well, but now we're gonna get into a little bit of the beefier fragrances. Okay, the next one we are going to sample is Iris Abian, and this one is not your light floaty iris. This has got a bit of a leather note in it, so this one is going to be a bit more potent. And to me, the leather note in here is definitely more of a suede. So I would probably describe this as a creamy iris suede fragrance. This is truly beautiful. This fragrance has sort of this rich feeling to it, as well as a very comforting and cozy feel as well. So let me read the notes to you first. This is going to be red mandarin, petitgrain mandarin, allspice. Yep, that's funny. My mom used to put allspice in everything, so that might be sort of that comforting note that I'm smelling in there. Peppercorn, iris, suede, balsam of Peru, sandalwood, leather, and musk. So if you can imagine all of those fragrances a bit blended in, that's going to give you a bit of warmth. It's sort of cozy, and then there is that beautiful iris note. The iris in this one is going to be softer, floatier, slightly powdery. It's not going to be super dominant. Again, I'm sort of getting the vibes of putting on a beautiful cashmere cozy sweater. I'm thinking the color of this is one of these perfectly luscious beige colors that is very luxurious, like you just want to kind of wrap yourself up in it. So it feels rich, it feels luxurious, but very cozy, and I'm definitely getting suede, not a strong leather note in here. I'm actually laughing because I feel like the aesthetics of the bottle sort of looks like this fragrance to me. Like, I really love the kind of minimalistic aesthetic of the bottles, and the color of the top would be the color of the cashmere sweater. So that is what I'm imagining when I smell this fragrance. Definitely more of a warm and cozy fragrance. You could definitely wear this right now in the dead of the summer because it's, again, not like a super heady fragrance. It is going to be lean, warmer, and cozier, but it isn't too strong for right now. But I do think this might shine a little bit as the weather is getting a bit cooler. I could definitely see really getting into this fragrance because it's just reminding me of taupe luxurious cashmere sweaters. So if you love cashmere sweaters, you love the cozy feeling, that soft luxurious feeling, and you kind of want to smell like that, that is what I would describe this fragrance as. And last but not least, we have Cacao Porcelona. This is going to be your rich, intoxicating. You could get a little bit drunk from this fragrance. It's got this really beautiful rum note in it, a dusting of cacao powder. This one's utterly addictive. It's got a plethora of gorgeous notes. You have got white cacao, rum, Indian jasmine, light tobacco, Davana, patchouli, creamy sandalwood, and tonka bean. And I absolutely love fragrances with tonka bean in it. I just find them to have this sort of rich depth, kind of a little bit resinous in the base that just is really truly addictive. So this one's going to be for my gourmand lover. It is so good, you guys. This one again is going to be fabulous for the fall and winter. You totally could wear this right now. I would think of this as a bit more of an intoxicating date night fragrance. This is one of those that kind of made my eyeballs roll back in the head. It's one of those yummy fragrances is what I like to call them. There is a unique freshness about this fragrance. I think it might be the clean patchouli in here. I'm not quite sure what the note is, but there's definitely something that lifts the fragrance up, but it's got that yummy kind of boozy quality about it. I do think of this fragrance as sort of a cocktail fragrance, like I'm going to a very luxurious bar that has leather and rich oak, and we're indulging in a chocolate rum like specialty drink. You guys, I don't even drink, but I can still enjoy these boozy fragrances, but that's what I'm imagining is something like that. So it is really a nice contrast because there's a freshness to it. It's not too dense, but of course it's got some booziness to this. it dries down into a very unique fragrance. That's what I would say. This one is unique. I don't think there's anything else I've quite smelled exactly like this one. Definitely more in the gourmand genre. And this one is not super sweet though. Sometimes when we think of gourmand, we think of vanilla fragrances and sweeter, kind of baked good fragrances. This one is in that realm with the cacao, but it isn't super sweet. I would say rum's a little bit sweeter of an alcohol, but again, it isn't like sugar sweet. I'm definitely smelling a little bit of nuttiness in here. This is described as white cacao, not like that rich, deep chocolatey cacao. I do get that smell of cacao, whether it's white cacao or deep chocolatey cacao. Definitely a dusting of that. This one is amazing, addictive, intoxicating, get a little bit high on perfume. This is the perfume that I would recommend for you. I always tell everybody I get high off my perfume. I don't need any other altering substances. I've got my perfume to lean on, and Cacao Porcelona is going to make me high on life. Love it. I find it interesting. Definitely would get a full bottle of this Cacao Porcelona. Honestly, everything I've tried today, I would purchase for different reasons. If I wanted something very fresh and invigorating, I would definitely go for the Pomelo. If I wanted something more soft and clean, kind of more of a skin scent, I would go for the Bois d'Ambrette. And then the Iris Ebene is my cashmere sweater, just pure luxury. And then we've got the intoxicating drunk fragrance Cacao Porcelona. So you can't go wrong with any of these. I'm loving all of them. And again, I love the aesthetics. So you will definitely be seeing a full bottle or two from this brand in one of my upcoming Fragrance Fridays. Super excited about this brand. And as always, I love to hear from you. Have you tried this brand? Do you have a favorite? Please share below. Always love hearing about your favorite fragrances as well. So you guys, I hope you have a great start to your weekend, and I will be back with another video soon.